Good evening, everybody. We had a couple technical difficulties. We are filming in a restaurant in New Rochelle called Ava Ava, and we have a lot of technical difficulties. I don't know if you could hear the music in the background, even though I told them to put it lower, they put it higher. I don't know. But if you see me salsa during the show, then you know why I'm having a good time. All right, listen. I got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm all alone. I have no co-guest, no guest tonight, no um, host. I mentioned about the domestic terrorists. Now, that's one of the socialist tricks. First of all, they want to destroy the country. They destroy the country, they build it up again to socialists. And what bothers me, and it should bother everybody, is that the Democrats are not making any, they're not even hiding it. I mean, you got the squad always proposing socialist agenda. They're always talking about how, they're anti-American. Um, it's just it's crazy. It's just absolutely nuts. I don't know if the American public is that stupid that they allow this stuff to go on, or they just are sheep. They're sheeples, and we got to do something about it. I mean, I noticed that there's a lot of conservative podcasts, a lot of conservative shows. People are starting to get a little, but I think it might be too late if they don't do something quick. Um, the current U.S. disasters, and we have quite a few, are uh, are destroying this country. I, I hate to belabor the point, but we have a problem at the southern border, which is not being addressed properly. They have asked people to come to this country, and these people are poor, they're desperate, they're destitute, and they see that Biden has invited them to come to this country for amnesty and get money and get freebies. And who's going to pay for it? The people that work. Other people pay for it. Also, one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is this COVID vaccine thing. Now, I got vaccinated. I got two vaccines. Now they're saying you got to get a third and a fourth, and this is all control. This is all control. Now, a lot of people are fighting this. A lot of people are saying no. People have been fired from their jobs. People have been laid off. People have been put on leave without pay because they don't want to be vaccinated. Now, some people don't want to be vaccinated for some really good reasons. One of them is that the vaccine, is not really a vaccine. It's a gene. Um, they're claiming it's changing the RNA on the genes. Okay, I don't know if that's true, but the people now. I read an email the other day, and I was talking to my friend Joe, who's watching tonight, and he said, you can't talk about it unless you verify it. Well, the thing I can verify out of this mime that I got is that a lot of people are not vaccinated and they have exemptions, and they all work for the government. And it's kind of ironic that people that work for the government now. If anybody out there, hey Mike, right week, Ben, why don't they speak out? They've broken every rule amenable. I'm outraged. Well, we're all outraged. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the things that they did. Recently, there was something came out that the U.S. postal workers were not vaccinated, and then someone made a beef, and they all of a sudden now, oh, they're vaccinated. Now, memo that I got, this memo that I got, okay, this memo that I got says that there are over 6,000 people that work in the White House. They are exempt. They don't have to get the vaccine. 14,000 people work for the Congress and the Senate, at the staffers and people. They don't have to get vaccinated. CDC has 15,000 people. They don't have to be vaccinated. Moderna, um, uh, Pfizer, and the other company, Johnson Johnson, they don't have to be vaccinated. Now, I don't understand. They make the product. I mean, I don't know if this is an exaggeration. So, um, I would like someone to correct me if this is not correct. But I understand that a lot of people with exemption. But these are the people that are telling us that if you don't get vaccinated, you're going to lose your job. If you don't get vaccinated, you can't go into a restaurant. And it's just ridiculous. It's just part of the socialist agenda to get power. Now, just look at what the Democrats have done. They have the White House, they got Congress, and by a razor thin margin, they have the Senate. Now, thank God we have two people on the Senate that are Democrats that are I wouldn't use the word conservative. I would just say middle of the road. I would say that. And they realize that these spending, these trillions and trillions of dollars, we can't afford that. And to show what it's in store with this is the inflation right now is the worst that it's been in, I don't know, 13, 14, 15 years. Everybody's complaining that no matter what you go to buy, it goes up. Now, to me, this, and I think if Joe chimes in later, this is part of the reset. This is part of the plan that they have. Okay. They stopped. We're the largest oil producing country in the world, more than the Middle East. And we stopped it. Why? Why did we stop it? Why do we stop? What does it say? Vinny Lababera, how are you doing, Vinny? I'm doing fine, Vinny. We got Jerry Brooks. Hey, Vinny, got to run baseball World Series about to come on, but I've been vaccinated. Peace, my brother. Okay. What we have here is the socialist agenda. I keep saying it and keep saying it. And they're not hiding it. They're not hiding it. Now, it's all about control. They control the two houses and they control the White House. And they're using executive privilege. They're using executive orders. For example, the executive order that Trump had in place for the border was working. Why did Biden bypass it and having all these people come in? It's part of the order. It's part of the plan. It's not, it's not that he's incompetent, which he really is, but the people that are behind him are telling him to do this. They want to dilute the American public. They want to have, they want us to be a third world nation. And the funny thing is, the people that are running it, Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, they're all millionaires. How do they become millionaires working for the government? I asked this question. Now, Nancy Pelosi owns stock in certain companies. Now, also, when she found out that the federal government was going to use electric cars for their cars, their fleet, she bought $1 million worth of Tesla stock. Okay. To me, that's inside trading. There's no way you can go. If you and I do that, we get locked up like Martha Stewart. She got locked up for insider trading, and a number of people got arrested for that. But they don't. The Congress and Senate, they know when the bills are going to come out. They know when there's going to be a problem. They know when there's going to be some sort of shortage, and they will make money on it. And it's common. It's very common. They've been doing it for years, and that's how they become millionaires when they start working for the government for $174,000 a year, and then all of a sudden they have millions of dollars, and they buy fancy homes. Look at Obama. He was a community organizer. All right, community organizer. He didn't make any money, right? Meanwhile, he bought a $4 million home in Martha's Vineyard. I don't know. He's building another super mansion someplace. Where did he get all this money? Now, I don't want to say anything bad about the man, but when he gave $150 million cash to Iran and bypassed Congress, I wonder if any of that money slipped into his pocket. Or when he gave the $150 billion back to Iran that we had a sanction on, I'm sure there's a Swiss bank account with his name or Michelle's name on it. Okay. Now, one of the other things that we're noticing right now is noticing delicious food and okay and I have to mention that the chef here is Nelson Robles, and he's a pretty good chef. I've had some food here before, and let's see how this comes out. One of the perks of doing a podcast in a restaurant. Okay, now we have supply shortages up the wazoo. Why? Anybody could tell me why? I'll tell you why. It's part of the game they're playing. Destroy and conquer.
Puerto Rican beans.
This is the sauce?
Beans.
Oh, the beans. Okay. So, I think we're going to do podcasts from now on in restaurants. Okay? All right, we have supply shortage. Now, Anthony Esposito, manja. Okay, so we have like 500, 600, 1,000 ships outside of New York Harbor and LA Harbor. And nobody's doing anything. Now, we have a Secretary of Transportation, Buttigieg. Now, he just had a baby. Well, he can have a baby because he can't have a baby. He's married to a guy. So what they did, they adopted a kid. Nice. I laud that. But he's not doing his job. What about alternate harbors for these kids? They didn't. They're like, well, who took over? DeSantis said, hey, we have harbors, we have marinas, we have harbors in Florida. Florida's on the ocean, it's on the Atlantic Ocean. So now some of these ships are going to Florida and they're unloading there. Now, the other problem we have is because of all this craziness in Washington, people are getting unemployment plus the stimulus money. They don't want to work. They don't want to work. And on top of that, truck drivers are pissed off about this vaccine mandate. They don't want to work. So you have a clusterfuck. That's all I could say. There's no other way to describe it. It's clusterfuck. And this clusterfuck is all planned by the administration. Okay. Now, very good. Remember, we're at Avo, 15 Division Street, New Rochelle. Beautiful restaurant. Later on, maybe I could put the camera on, show the place. It's very, very nice. And so, all right, what do we got here? Bruce Capola. Florida Governor DeSantis said his ports are open 24/7. That's right. Wow, good. Now, why didn't anybody else think of it? Why didn't Biden think about it? He can't think anyway. Or Kamala Harris, or somebody in the government. Buttigieg, as I mentioned before. How come they didn't have this idea? So let's use other ports. Now, keep in mind, when a ship is outside the harbor, burning oil, burning fuel, the people on the ship got to get paid. So what does that do? It brings the price of the goods that they're delivering up. It's going to bring this price of the book goes up, and we're going to pay for it. And again, that's part of the plan. What we're having now is, if anybody remembers, late 70s or 70s, how Russia, if you weren't a member of the party, you had to wait online for 2 hours to get toilet paper. Okay, remember that? Well, now we're going through the same thing. Now, the people that belong to the Communist Party, the members of the Communist Party, they have dachas on the Black Sea. They have everything they want right on. Vinny, they're all useless. Our current leadership is a bunch of fucking morons. Okay. So, oh, this is great. By the way, this chef in this place is Nelson Robles. This guy is great. So, all these shelves being empty reminds me of when I was a kid watching the news, how the Russians had no, they had to wait online, had nothing. We're doing the same thing. It's following the same footsteps. Divide and conquer the nation. All of a sudden, we have this thing about a CRT. We have all this racial stuff. Now, when Obama was president for 8 years with Biden, vice president, how come this? How come they never addressed this? How come they never said, "All right, we have this problem. Let's fix it"? They never did. They only did it when Trump came in, because that's one of the ways they can divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Mm. If anybody's watching this and they're hungry because they see me, ah, go to McDonald's. So now keep in mind, the teachers in the schools nowadays, in the colleges and in high schools, and even in grammar school, some of them were the radicals from the 70s. They went to college, they came out, and they embraced the socialist agenda, and they are teaching the kids the same crap. Matter of fact, what does it teach it? Bruno, communist leadership. That's what we have now, communist leadership. Now, oh, the newest plan that Biden has, again, more control, is he wants to eliminate cars on the road, that we should all use trains. Now, can you believe that? Now, where are you going to get a train in the suburbs? Where are you going to get a train in the middle of, let's say, Long Island? Okay, you have a train going to Long Island, but what about if you got to go sideways? You need a car. You need a ridiculous. Parts of this country do not have trains. They can't have it, maybe because of geographical location, rivers, uh, canyons, mountains, whatever. It's just not feasible. But that's another way of controlling us. And Amtrak, which is funded or subsidized. Hello from South Carolina. Oh, right. Michael Spano. Very good. What can Amtrak do that they haven't done before? Is lose money. They've lost billions of dollars. I think over the last few years, they've lost over $100 billion because it's subsidized by the government. Anytime the government takes over something, subsidized, they lose money, and we pay for it. Now, the other thing that they want to do is they want to tax billionaires. Okay. Now, I'm not a billionaire, so I'm not worried about that. But the problem that this trickles down to any other additional people, because what happens is they want to tax investment money. So here's the deal: I work my ass off. I have $200,000 to invest. I put that in. I invest that money into stocks, bonds, whatever. Mm. You're going to tax it before it matures. So here's the deal. If you have taxes, if you have investment money, when you cash it in, you get taxed. They want to tax it before you cash it in. This is how desperate they are. Now, didn't Biden say this infrastructure bill and all this stuff is not going to cost us anything? That's the biggest lie. He has lied. Matter of fact, he actually said that he rode over 2 million miles on tracks. Another lie. The whole list of he lied his whole career and got away with it. He lied in law school. He lied when he ran for president in 1982. Um, he plagiarized Labor Party's speech in England. He didn't think anybody would pick up on it, but they did. And it goes on and on and on. We're not, but now, now, now we have a situation where they are so desperate that they're trying to push all these bills through. This infrastructure bill is there are so many things put in there. Now, keep in mind, this infrastructure bill, I was told that it's 2,500 or 2,700 pages long. Who the hell's going to read that? Even the Congress people don't read it. They go by party line. If they're told, if this is, they'll do it. Give me an example. Nancy Pelosi, when they were doing the Obamacare bill, she actually had the temerity to say, you got to vote for it, then you read it. Something to that effect. Can you imagine that? That's like you're buying a house and you don't read the so you buy a car and you don't read the small print on the contract, or you're getting a lease. Uh, it, it, it's crazy, crazy. But this is what we're facing now. Very interesting election going on in Virginia, and neck and neck between Terry McAuliffe and Lodgeman. They want that state to stay red. I mean blue. If they lose the governorship, that's a precursor to what's going to happen in 2022. And the Democrats are crazy. They actually had Biden campaigning for this guy. Biden is so unfavorable. He's got the worst favorable record in the last 50 years of any president. The corruption in this government is terrible. Now, they try to say Trump was corrupt. Well, he's a billionaire. He didn't take a salary. They never got him. He never did anything to make money illegal. Okay. They nailed some of the people around him. I have to admit, I don't think his choice of staff or people in his government was that good. Bannon got in trouble. Um, what do you call General Flynn got in trouble. But they what they did was they took things out of context. They say he lied, but that went away anyway. But what do we have? Hold on. We have a government that is totally inept. If you look, I'm making somebody hungry. Well, come to Alvo, come to 15 Division Street in New Rochelle, and you can eat here too. I tell you the truth, I think I'm going to do this all the time. I love it. I love it. But you have a president that has a junkie son, got thrown out of the Navy, had sex with his brother's widow. Or what? I mean, it just unbelievable. He sells art in Manhattan for $500,000 when the buyers are not known, and we know that this is a way of money laundering. Now, when I got certified as a certified fraud examiner, one of the things on the test about money laundering, though they didn't say art, but they meant other art objects, that is how you launder money. Now, he's getting money from the Chinese communists, got money from the Ukraine. I mean, the list of corruption is unbelievable. Now, what is interesting about Hunter Biden is because he's the vice president and now the president's son, he got away with a lot of stuff. Now, I've been a businessman for many years. Now, it's always good to know somebody's got connections. That's the name of the game. So this guy will go to somebody like Burisma in Ukraine, say, hey, my father's the vice president. You got to take care of me. I got to take care of you. He did that. Now, also, Biden's brother, I think his name is James, he got a multi-zillion dollar um, he got a zillion dollar contract for construction in the Middle East. Guy doesn't know. He doesn't even know what a hammer looks like. The level of corruption is so deep. Now, why they do that is because the FBI, the Justice Department, they're all part of the deep state. Look at Hillary Clinton. She violated the law. She broke phones. She tried to erase emails. She lied to Congress, amongst other things, and nothing happened to her. Why? Because she's got dirt on a lot of people. Everybody who testified against her, anybody who even had anything to do with her, wound up dead. They call it Hillary for that. And it's amazing. It's amazing how she can get away with all this. And now, I wish I had a camera that I couldn't hook up because I didn't have the technical expertise here. It's a beautiful restaurant. The food is good, and I'm making everybody hungry that's watching. Everybody, um, okay. We have 2 million illegal migrants. 200,000 a month. We have about 2 million to list a year. Give or take 100,000. All right. So at the end of this year, at the rate they're going, we're going to have about 3 million cities. They are not vaccinated. They are not tested. They can't be tested because they're overwhelmed. The border agents. They just can't. They can't handle it. And when they're trying to process, how many people are slipping by them? I mean, think about it. When you're in high school, grammar school, at 3 o'clock, when the bell rings, all the kids run out of this class. You got one teacher who can handle all these kids. That's the same thing, same principle. Now you have about another 2,000 or 20,000 migrants coming in from where it's not only Mexico or Guatemala. They caught people from Somalia, from Syria, all over the world. And some of them they caught were on the terrorist watch list. What about the ones they didn't catch? They, the socialists want this disruption of our fibers of the country. When they destroy the fibers, then they can build it up themselves. And they're going to be in charge. Now, the funny thing is, all these elitists, like in Hollywood, all these rich movie stars and everything, they follow this agenda because it's not going to affect them. They have all the money. They can buy. They can listen. All these things are going to be shortages. They'll find a way to get them. They'll pay extra money. Let's see. Vinny, one of the best food lovers of all time. What goes in? I plead guilty. Okay. Okay, so Anthony, I don't have a watch a clock. What time? I don't know what time it is.
7:46.
Tell me what?
7:46.
46. Anthony, put. All right, I got my books on there. Hello,
Hello?
you got me live. Alexis, I told you I had to speak to your technical guy. You never had him call me. People,